Turbo Granny is based on a ghost granny who resides in tunnels. There are actually 3 different types of Turbo Grannies. We have 80 kilometers per hour granny, 100 kilometers per hour granny, and 120 kilometers per hour granny. If we're talking in miles per hour, then this would be 50, 62, and 75 miles per hour. That's ridiculously fast, especially for a granny. It's about the same speed as the speed limit on highways in most of the world. But why does this ghost granny live in a tunnel? You see, there is a story from rural folklore about a young man who was chased out of a mountain tunnel by an old person who was abandoned there. Now, this story itself is based on a myth that when times get tough, people abandon old women deep in the mountains in order to reduce the number of mouths to feed. Though if you want to get deeper, the story of DanDaDan reflects on how the Turbo Granny is there to comfort the spirits of young girls who died tragic deaths in the tunnel. This explains why the granny always steals the reproductive organs of those who dare enter the tunnel. It is to enact justice for the girls who lost their lives in horrible ways. In terms of abilities, the Turbo Granny in the show goes 62 miles per hour consistently. Unlike automobiles, she doesn't lose speed or momentum when taking turns. She doesn't need to accelerate either. The speed is always a constant 62 miles per hour. And let me tell you that she has the ability to teleport through phone lines as well. She instinctively understands the magnetic fields and electric currents, which is what allowed her to suddenly pop out of Momo's phone and protect her from the aliens. In simpler words, she can teleport anywhere where a phone exists. In case of other abilities, Turbo Granny can cast curses. She can transform into her spiritual form to take over someone, and she can also merge with other spirits as long as it's consensual. The Earthbound Spirit Crab is a spirit that emerged when several girls were murdered in the same tunnel. Before the start of the story, the Turbo Granny entered the tunnel and consoled the Earthbound Spirit Crab about what happened to those girls. Following that, the Turbo Granny and the Earthbound Spirit Crab fuse together and become one. Acrobatic Silky is a ghost spirit based on a mother who travels the world in search of the spirit of her child. In the context of DanDaDan, we get her backstory. She is simply the spirit of a woman who is drowning in debt. She worked 2 jobs and also sold her body just to provide for her only daughter. One day, she uses some of the money to buy her daughter a dress, but unfortunately, the debt collectors came the same day. They beat her senseless and also took her daughter. She chases after them until their van disappears from sight. The mother loses herself in grief and jumps from a building. The mother's spirit loses her memories and just wanders the streets. She knew she had lost something important, something precious, but she couldn't quite remember what it was until the day a little girl named Ira temporarily mistook her for her own deceased mother. This misunderstanding turned the spirit of the mother into Acrobatic Silky. As you can expect, she possesses extraordinary acrobatic skills. Her speed, agility, and reflexes are brazen. Even when Okarun was using Turbo Granny's speed, she was still able to react and dodge in time. Her strength is insane. She was even able to release herself from Momo's psychic restraint. And as far as her stamina and endurance are concerned, she was able to get back up after being hit by a full charge attack that sent her crashing back out of a building. Her physical stats are what you'd expect from a mother who would do anything to reunite with her child. As for her spiritual powers, she has the ability to extend and manipulate her hair however she wants. It's like she ate a devil fruit called Hair no Mi. Evil Eye is a ghost spirit associated with the mountains. There are quite a lot of myths and folklores associated with the Evil Eye in many different cultures, but in the context of DanDaDan, we have the complete story. Evil Eye was once a young boy who was chosen to be a sacrifice in order to prevent the village from being destroyed by the eruption of a volcano. The eruption of the volcano happens when a creature called Tsuchinoko gets too hungry, which is why a certain family would conduct these rituals every 200 years to appease the Tsuchinoko. Before the sacrifice, he was imprisoned and kept without food. All he could do was watch from his cage as other children were smiling and playing outside. Just once, he wanted to play with them, but ultimately, the day of the sacrifice came and that was it. Centuries later, he emerges as a ghost spirit exactly where he was imprisoned. It is revealed that the place has been turned into an actual sacrificial house by the same family that sacrificed this boy. Not only that, the same family is now going to sacrifice another young boy. He tries everything he can to save this other boy from his confinement, but he can't do anything. Even though he can interact with the other boy, he doesn't have a physical body to free him. The other boy is also sacrificed, and this is where he turns into the Evil Eye. He swears vengeance on the family that has been sacrificing children, and as time continues to pass, his hatred of the family evolves into hatred of all humanity. As for his abilities, he can force people into killing themselves. He can use people as a vessel, and he can also share his memories with his vessel. Of course, he possesses Gigi, who is one of the major characters, and while having a vessel gives him a significant boost in physical stats. It also gives him the ability to summon the grudges of those who were sacrificed. A slit-mouthed woman is a ghost spirit who has an unusually wide mouth. She goes by her actual name, Reiko Kashima. We don't know much about her past life, but we do know that she had a lover, and we also know that she died because of an airplane bombing attack. Most of Reiko Kashima's abilities depend on her mirror. If someone takes away or destroys her mirror, she can't use these special abilities anymore. But let me tell you that as long as she has the mirror, she is ridiculously overpowered. One of her main abilities is called remote attacking. With this power, she can reach through her mirror and have parts of her body, like her hand, come out of other mirrors or pieces of glass nearby. This lets her attack people from a distance and launch surprise attacks from any glass surface around. She can also grab enemies to stop them from escaping by reaching through glass on the ground. She can create multiple hands from different pieces of glass to overwhelm her opponents. Her reach with this ability extends over a large area, at least across an entire city. However, if she doesn't have her mirror, she can't use these powers. Another ability she possesses is called imprisonment. She can trap people inside a space within her mirror by reflecting them. Once they're inside, she can do whatever she wants with the trapped individuals. She can trap one person or even an entire army, and there's no known limit to how many she can hold inside her mirror. But she needs her mirror to use this power. Sometimes, the people she traps might trick her into letting them go by playing on her vanity or ego. She has possession, which allows her to take over anyone who looks at their own reflection in a mirror connected to hers. Though if the mirror is removed or covered, she loses control over the person. She can perform heart reading through her mirror connection. This means she can read people's emotions and feelings. By understanding what her targets feel and want, she can manipulate or deceive them more effectively. Her ability of surveillance allows her to spy on people using her mirror. She always knows what her targets are doing and where they are. This helps her confront them at the perfect moment when they're least expecting it. Lastly, she can use vocal replication. This power lets her perfectly imitate another person's voice to deceive others. In simpler words, she is the strongest ghost spirit in DanDaDan. Onbusuman is a ghost spirit born from a child who died during infancy. In English, Onbusuman means old man crying, and they have the power to manipulate gravity. It's simple. Onbusuman searches for love by climbing people's backs. If the person responds with love, they will pass away in peace. But if the person rejects them, they will crush the person using the ever-growing weight of their hate. In DanDaDan, Onbusuman used to be a cheerful girl named Mai Kawabanga. She wanted to be an idol, but she died at the age of 8 because of a car accident, and then became an Onbusuman-style spirit. Fairy Tale Card is the spirit that was sealed inside the cursed trunk. We don't know the reason as to why it was sealed, but because the Fairy Tale Card couldn't break out, it ended up creating a world inside the trunk, and anyone who would come into contact with this trunk would end up in that world. As you can expect, its abilities are based on a number of cards that it can use once a human is in its presence. The Face card allows it to corrupt human minds and take control of them. It forces victims to confront their deepest traumas to break their spirit. It can unlock a person's full potential for its own use, but this can lead to the victim's death due to extreme stress. While it can control multiple humans at once, the power requires eye contact to take effect, and doesn't work on yokai. Destroying the Face card or interrupting the process can break the control. Using the Mouth card, the Fairy Tale card can erase a human's mouth. This ability silences opponents who rely on speech or vocal abilities, but destroying the Mouth card nullifies this effect. The Eye card enables the Fairy Tale card to erase a human's eyes. This leaves the victim vulnerable, unable to see attacks. However, individuals with extrasensory perception can overcome this handicap. Of course, destroying the Eye card restores the victim's sight. With the Ear card, the Fairy Tale card emits a deafening sound that disrupts a human's hearing and induces dizziness. This can halt enemies and prevent coordinated attacks. Again, destroying the Ear card removes this effect. The Fairy Tale card can also possess possess a human's body and control them from within. The victim remains conscious and can feel everything, but it doesn't share their sensations. This allows it to use the person's abilities while avoiding pain or discomfort they might feel. We saw him possess Unjizuma's body, and he was fully intent on helping Unji live out his desire to destroy the world. And of course, the fairy tale card can create pocket dimensions. Within these dimensions, it has absolute control over everything, including the actions of anyone inside. It can use objects from the real world as gateways to trap individuals. By the way, it can regenerate any of its destroyed cards using buds, effectively restoring its powers. However, if 2 or more cards are destroyed simultaneously, it cannot regenerate them. This means coordinated efforts are needed to defeat it by targeting multiple cards at once. Umbrella Boy is a ghost spirit born from a boy who cherished the umbrella and rain boots his mother gave him. The boy's name is Futazuma, and he is actually the younger brother of Unjizuma, the guy who was possessed by the fairy tale card. If we're talking about his story, Futa and his family grew up in poverty. His father died, his brother raised him, and his mother struggled to provide for them. Things were tight, and then on a random rainy day, as Futa's umbrella flew from his hands, he immediately runs after it, which leads him to a river, and unfortunately, he drowns to death. Years later, he reemerges as Umbrella Boy. He reunites with his brother when his brother is seen rescuing another boy from drowning in the river. After the reunion, Umbrella Boy lets his brother use his powers instead of using them himself. They enhance his strength and speed, and Unji also becomes more noble-minded. The ability is called Parasol Materialization. It allows him to summon 2 special umbrellas. These umbrellas can fire powerful shockwaves capable of destroying obstacles and enemies when opened. The shockwaves also allow Unji to propel himself through the air. Once an umbrella is opened, it disappears and cannot be resummoned immediately. After using both umbrellas, Unji's powers need time to recharge. When possessed by the fairy tale card, Unji undergoes a full power transformation, taking on an appearance more like Umbrella Boy. A Serpo is an alien from planet Serpo. They are an alien race composed exclusively of males. They can't reproduce, so they clone each other, but that means they cannot have any biological evolution. This is why they come to Earth to steal reproductive organs from humans. Every Serpo has tools between their legs to accomplish this very purpose. They have a reproductive tool that they can use to extract female reproductive organs. And then they have a large scissor that can be used to take male reproductive organs. By the way, fun fact, in the 60s and 70s, the US military sent 12 people on a study exchange to the planet Serpo. You can look it up if you want. Unfortunately, 2 of them died on Serpo while the rest died after returning back to Earth. This was because their bodies couldn't handle the ultraviolet radiation of that planet. Now, if we're talking about their abilities, then let me tell you that they are exceptionally intelligent. They have mastered cloning. They can manipulate space and also travel in space much more effectively. They have psychic powers that let them control and incapacitate targets without physical contact. One of their techniques is called Sixth Sense Organ. It's like extending the hand and emitting a shockwave powerful enough to create craters. Plus, they can multiply their powers by fusing with each other. Rokuro Serpo is also from planet Serpo, but he is a defector. Yes, this Serpo defected and allied with Momo and the others. He has the same abilities as the rest of the Serpo, but thanks to Mr. Mantis Shrimp and Ludris, he acquires a special nano skin that allows him to shape his skin into all sorts of tools. Flatwoods Monster is an alien associated with the Serpos. It's called the Flatwoods Monster because it was first seen in the town of Flatwoods in Braxton County, West Virginia, though it eventually immigrated to Japan. It has incredible physical strength that can unleash shockwaves with just a stomp of its feet, and if its legs are destroyed, it can just grow a new pair. No wonder its main skill is sumo wrestling. And if we're talking about extraterrestrial powers, this alien can emit black mist from its mouth, or even from its wounds. This mist is like toxic mustard gas that causes nosebleeds to whoever inhales it. Mandrill Alien is a random alien who comes to Earth to collect test subjects. He only appears in a special bonus comedy chapter, where he attacks Momo and Okarun in school during the kick the can battle. Mr. Mantis Shrimp is an alien from a certain planet. I don't know how to pronounce the planet's name because it's written with special emojis. Anyways, Mr. Mantis Shrimp's actual name is Peeny Weenie. He also goes by the alias Dover Demon. He had a wife and a son, but unfortunately, his wife died because of an illness, and his son ended up with the same illness. He became the subordinate of the Serpo aliens to make money in order to ultimately pay for his son's blood transfusion. Though, as it turns out, his people's blood is the same as cow's milk, and so the situation is resolved when Momo's grandma gives him a cow. As for Peeny Peenie Weenie's abilities. His people are based on the mantis shrimp, so obviously, their punches are downright diabolical. Peenie Weenie has his own fighting style. He calls it Dover Demon Strong Style 24, and he came up with it after getting injected with a serum from one of the Serpo cables. This allows him to transform for 20 minutes, and in this transformed state, his strength is further enhanced. Plus, when he is in water, his punches become 10 times stronger. His signature move is called Salary Uppercut. Chiquitita is Peenie Weenie's cute little son. He recovers from his illness thanks to the cow's milk, but ends up moving to Earth with Peenie Weenie because he needs a constant supply of cow milk, and as it turns out, cows cannot survive on his planet. Serpo Dover Demon Nessie is the name of the fusion between a Serpo, Peenie Weenie, and Nessie. It multiplies their individual strength, and thanks to Nessie, Serpo Dover Demon Nessie also gets the ability to fire high compression water blasts from his mouth. Though overall, it was just a one-off fusion back when Peenie Weenie was still an antagonist. Ludris is a traveler who travels throughout the cosmos. It is said that an encounter with him is a miracle in and of itself. He is chill though. Even after Momo and Seiko kick him, he still helps in repairing their house with his nanoskin. Bamora is the only child from the Sumerian race who is still alive. When the Kur aliens invaded her planet, she escaped to Earth because her adoptive mother wanted her to find a worthy husband who can help her in preserving their bloodline. She ends up on Earth thanks to the Sumerian pyramid teleportation, and after meeting Okurun, she decides that he's the one. Now, in the context of DanDaDan, it is implied that the Sumerians are actually the ancestors of the human race of planet Earth. They look exactly like humans, and the only difference is that they have antennas on their heads. If we're talking about Bamora's abilities, she was given an exosuit by her adoptive mother so that she can protect herself. The suit grants Bamora enhanced strength and durability. She can use heads-up display to analyze the environment, and the suit has a tail that she can use to strike enemies like a whip. The suit also gives her abilities like transparency, size enhancement, and clothing replication. There's the emergency defense system where the system takes over and fights on autopilot. And finally, you have the slaughter mode where her exosuit takes on a more beastly form while also increasing combat prowess. Banga is a Sumerian, and she is also Bamora's adoptive mother. She was a cook until the Kur aliens invaded. That's when she joined the all-women's resistance against the alien invaders. She is the one who persuaded the males of the Sumerian race to join the resistance. And she is also the one who used the Sumerian pyramid teleportation to send Bamora to Earth. Tome is a Sumerian. She joined the all-women's resistance against the Kur aliens as well. Same goes for Aja, together with Banga, Tome, and Bamora. These are the only 4 named members of the Sumerian alien race. Hastur Kur is a member of the Kur alien race. The Kur race is a race of aliens from the farthest reaches of space. They are called space globalists, and all they do is invade and conquer other planets. As you can expect, they are violent and ruthless. And we're talking about their abilities and powers when they wear the same exosuit as the one Bamora wears. We'll talk about it more when we discuss the alien that manufactures these suits, but for now, let's just say that all of them wear the exosuit, and that is what makes their military might so powerful. As for Hastur Kur, he is the leader of the advanced unit that was sent to Earth in order to eliminate Bamora, and then begin with the invasion of Earth. His exosuit is called Hastur, and its ability is spatial carving. It literally allows him to carve away space itself. The ability also gives him a separate dimension that serves as the storage for carved out space. And guess what? The storage is infinite. Luckily, the main characters had powers that transcend the space and dimensions. Jet Booster Exosuit Kur is the second member of the advanced unit. His exosuit is called Jet Booster Exosuit. There are jet boosters on the back that increases attack power. Takonoka Rupacho Kur is the third member of the advanced unit. His exosuit is Takonoka Rupacho, and it gives him a perfect combination of offense and defense. He can launch destructive missiles and conjure up an electrical shield, while he also possesses resilient armor to defend against attacks. Ta-Kawasa Kur is the fourth member of the advanced unit. His exosuit is Ta-Kawasa, and it comes with 6 mechanical arms on its back that he can use however he wants. Head Exosuit Kur is the 5th member of the advanced unit. His exosuit is Head Exosuit. It can fly, and it also has a lot of firearms on its sides. Mantis Exosuit Kur is the 6th member of the advanced unit. His exosuit is Mantis Exosuit. It uses laser-bladed legs to slash opponents, and because it's based on a mantis, it is effective on both land and underwater. Mr. Mantis Shrimp is the one who defeats this, by the way. Ta-Koshin Jokur is the 7th member of the advanced unit. His exosuit is Ta-Koshin Jo. It's a mecha equipped with 4 missile turrets. Ta-Kameshi Kur is the 8th member of the advanced unit. His exosuit is Ta-Kameshi. Its special ability is the power to generate a shockwave field around itself. It can launch an anti-gravity beam cannon. Sudako Kur is the 9th member of the advanced unit. His exosuit is Sudako. It is a type of small-size exosuit that can fly, and it comes with a sniper rifle that fires electromagnetic projectiles. Imotako Kur is the 10th member of the advanced unit. His exosuit is Imotako. Its special ability allows the user to enter a separate dimension while still being able to physically contact anything in reality. Basically, the user becomes invulnerable because they are in a separate dimension, but they can still attack and do whatever they want. Big Mamas are aliens who are tamed by the Kur people. They are now mindless slaves whose sole purpose is to manufacture exosuits. You see, a Big Mama produces an exosuit when they are done consuming a significant enough quantity of living organisms. The exosuit depends on the quality of the life that is being consumed. For example, Bamora's exosuit looks like the god that the Sumerian people worship. This is because the Sumerian people were the living organisms that were consumed in order to make the suit. Pygmies are an alien race based on dwarves. They are so small that they are practically undetectable and just like the Serpos. They also look the same. They are incredibly fast, resourceful, and they also have the ability to stitch literally anything together, kind of like Leo the Tontara from One Piece. As for their allegiance, they are associated with a human girl named Koki Yukishio. And in the context of the current developments in the manga, Koki is being threatened by someone to hunt down and steal Momo's powers. Count Saint Germain is an alien collector whose goal is to acquire DanDaDan itself. He is the primary overarching antagonist of DanDaDan. You see, Count Saint Germain is a collector who collects anything related to the paranormal. He has a knife that can extract powers from paranormal beings and even humans. He used it on the fairy tale card and gained all of the spirit's abilities. He has vials that are full of abilities that he has extracted from various spirits, but he can only use them 1 vial at a time. In terms of his physical abilities, he is a master swordsman with insane physical stats, and he also possesses a 6th sense that lets him detect incoming attacks. Going back to his main goal, in chapter 163, we finally learned that DanDaDan is not just the name of the manga, it is something paranormal that the main antagonist of the story seeks to collect.